How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now that we've seen both the Lions and the Brumbies release their squads for the upcoming game this Wednesday, I wanted to break it down, give my thoughts, and want to hear what your guys' opinions are. So as always, please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. And let's break it down. So first up, we start off with the Lions. I did do a video previously about this. You'll see the squad just next to me. And honestly, I am really liking the squad. It's a very strong squad. I'm loving the front three in Genge, Sheehan, and Furlong. Monsters going to come down to their scrummaging, and they are going to be absolute powerhouses. They are going to be ridiculously hard to stop and to handle. The lock pairing, Itoje McCarthy, I think this is pretty good. I am loving the performances of Ryan recently. McCarthy, we know how agile he is and how dominant he can be as well, so it's going to be interesting to see this matchup. Honestly, the back rows where I'm most interested in is Chessum, Conan, and Tom Curry. Curry's filling in at 7. We've seen Ollie Chessum come in 6 instead of being that lock and having that partnership. And then Conan, who I think is going to end up starting all of them, all of the Australian tour tests. Now, looking at this back, I think the only thing that I can really potentially see changing in terms of this in the tests is Aki, Ringrose, and maybe Kinghorn. I'm pretty certain we've seen Lowe and Freeman nail this down and kind of guarantee their spots. And the same thing with Gibson and Russell. Honestly, I'm kind of feeling a Huey Palutu center partnership instead of Aki and Ringrose, and then potentially Hugo Keenan at 15. But if this was to be the team that's going to play in the Australian tours, in the Australian games, I am not upset with this. I would actually think that this is going to do very well. The one thing, however, I do find is that the Lions always start off slow. They always struggle in the beginning. We look at pretty much every single game that they've played in Australia. The first few minutes of the first half, second half, they are always struggling. They are always lagging behind, which allows all the other teams to really start to put pressure and to start to gain momentum. Thankfully, the Lions are relatively good when it comes down to their defensive structures, and their players are ridiculous, but it still gives to warrant Australia's not going to be as forgiving, right? They're not going to be as understanding with mistakes. If the Lions make mistakes like they have been, they will not be forgiven at all, and they will be made to pay, especially with players like Joseph Suwali. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to be playing out. I'm pretty certain we are going to end up seeing kicking for corner, going for line out, using the line out into the rucks, and then dominating the mauls into the try line, kind of trying to keep that territory, very high territory based game. They're going to be using the likes of Finn Russell to really use his kicking expertise to, just keep the Brumbies on the back foot. The same thing with James Lowe. Use that to keep them on the back foot, and then whenever needed, using Finn Russell's up and under to be able to give it to Tommy Freeman, who is phenomenal in the air. So I think they are going to be going for a very much broken play, set piece oriented kind of game plan. Try to slow down the Brumbies. Don't allow them to play any form of phase play. We don't want to be getting them into momentum, into that rhythm, and then getting into those like 4, 5, 6, 7 phases where they really start to put a lot of pressure on the Lions and start making those gaps. So I think they're going to try and kick it out as quick as possible, try to work at that breakdown. I think Ollie Chessum is going to do pretty good at the breakdown, and I think Ollie Chessum and Curry, I think they want them to have this because they want to be putting as much pressure on the Brumbies as much as possible, as quickly as possible. And the same thing with Jack Conan. He's an absolute jackling monster. So I think this is where they are going to want to be forcing as many mistakes from the Brumbies as possible, put as much pressure on them at the breakdown, going for scrums, try to win those turnovers, and just keep that pressure on. So yeah, I mean, then we look into the replacements. We got Kelleher, Porter, Stewart, which is, a straight replacement for for your Genge, Sheehan, and Furlong come the second half if needed. Van der Vlier, Pollock, brilliant replacements, so that because we know Chesham and Tom Curry is going to be giving everything, right? So come the 50th, 60th minute, have these monsters come on with that energy, with that engine, that they can completely change a game if needed, or take a game away. And we just start to see the Brumbies start to crumble because of the pressure and the running ability of Van der Vlier and Pollock. And, the Lions can potentially take this away. Then we have Alex Mitchell, Marcus Smith, and Mac Hansen in those backs. So working, working a good amount of versatility with Marcus Smith being able to play in that 10 and that 15 role, Alex Mitchell at the 9, and then potentially Mac Hansen for whether it's going to be 11 or 14. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes up. Now, I'm not going to say I know a lot about the Brumbies. Unfortunately, I don't, but I will give you their squad. So they have Lely, Lonergan, and then Neck. Lock pairing, we have Shaw and Neville. Back row is Hooper, Tualima, Scott. Number 9, so the halfback pairing is Lonergan and Meredith at 10. Centers is Feluai and then Sapsford. Wingers, wingers are Toole, and then it's O'Donnell, and then the 15 is Muirhead. Yeah, I think that's how it's said. So their bench is Liam Boron, Cameron Orr, Feo for Tuaika, Lachlan Hooper, Luke Reimer, Harrison Goddard, Jack Debreceni, and then Hudson Creighton. So for all of you Brumby fans, I'd love to know a bit more about them, but they are going to have a lot of difficulty up against this Lions squad. They've got a bit of everything. They've got that those powerhouse players. I mean, we look at the size of the forwards is absolutely ridiculous. Plus, we have Ollie Chesham, who's a beast on his own, now dropping into that 6th position as well. So I think Andy Farrell is going to want to be going for a very heavy, dominant, physical display, destroying everyone with the scrums, with the lineouts, using those rolling mauls to really start putting a lot of pressure on the Brumbies and really, try to force that territory. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I think this is going to be a good game. Obviously, the Brumbies, they actually finished 3rd in the Super Rugby, so they actually finished pretty high up, much higher than all the other tests that that the Lions have had. So they are definitely going to be the biggest test to date, but it's going to be interesting to see how things go. So drop your thoughts in the comment section below. I want to hear where you guys think this game is going to go, and I want to hear what your predictions are. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.